it! Stop it! Just what is wrong with you? Just please stop it! Stop it! Just God damn it! Stop it! Please stop it!
Hey folks, viewer mail time again. Oh, here's one from Sally, age 14. Dear Pig, aren't you interrupting the story at the most suspenseful part? Well, the answer is yes, Sally. Yes, I am. Keep those cards and letters coming.
When a mysterious force decimates the population, only one thing is certain. If you see it, you die. These dumb survivors must now avoid coming face to face with an entity that takes the form of their worst fears. Besides this guy. He's the only smart person there. Anyways, searching for hope and a new beginning, a woman and her child, and this other girl's kid, embark on a dangerous journey through the woods and down a river to find the one place that may offer sanctuary. To make it, they'll have to cover their eyes from the evil that chases them, and complete their trip blindfolded. Oh, this movie was so stupid and had a stupid ending. When this movie came out, it was way too overhyped. See, how I first heard about the movie was because of the memes. I didn't even see the trailers, I didn't even know this was a movie until the memes came out. But now, I know this, but anyways, let me rephrase that. Anyways, I know this movie came out 4 months ago, so it's kind of a stupid review to do on it, but until someone commented on my last video, Mr. Stencil, he reminded me of the movie. Now, I'm not saying the movie was bad, it was okay, I suppose. But I do think it was way badder, whatever, than Bohemian Rhapsody. Hell, even the critics know it was just an okay movie. Literally, Rotten Tomatoes was like a 60%, and other places were like 5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10, or 60% still. I don't even know why people thought this movie was the best movie of the year. Now, this movie had a weird choice about having the past and present going back and forth, because I think when it gets to the present scenes, it pretty much just spoiled what happens to everyone in the past. Now, in the beginning of the movie, I can get, because it wants to show the audience how it started and everything. But, before we start, now, this movie won't be like my last review. This is all one. Everyone is in the same situation and is part of the same story. Well, it pretty much gets only has like what, one main character. You can't count everyone else because they die. So spoiler warning. Ha! Or get spoiled and stuff. But I do want to say the acting was really good and the script was good too, I suppose. I should really stop with the acting, because every movie I'm gonna see is gonna have good acting. But anyways, everything else is just boring. Like it said in the beginning, don't correct me on my phrases. I am just trying to process my mind right now. But anyways, like I said in the beginning, I don't get the whole hype about this movie. They said this movie was the best movie ever, better than Infinity War, which I laughed my ass off when I heard that. So I watched it, and I was bored out of my mind. Now, the first 30 minutes were actually pretty good, with the destructions and people getting to safety in the beginning. But let me just say this, that this movie is a combination of World War Z and the best movie ever, The Happening, and A Quiet Place. The reason why I said World War Z is because of the destruction in the beginning. It kind of reminded me of the concept right there. And The Happening, and it reminds me of The Happening because it's pretty much 70% of the movie. Because when air blows past them, they kill themselves. Well, if the air hits them, and they don't have a blindfold on, and they don't see something, because the blindfolds are off, they see something, and they're like, whoa, let me just get this gun, and the reason why Quiet Place, because it's almost the same concept, but with the eyes instead of the mouth making noise. Now, before I start, again, this review, put in the comments of what you guys think of about this movie. Was it too overhyped? Or was it the right amount of hype? I guess you could say. Now, to begin. The movie begins with Sandra Bullock screaming and threatening to kill the kids if they take their blindfold off. I'm serious. That's how it begins. But I get why. She was worried about them, but don't threaten to kill them. There's no point if they die before you kill them because they took the blindfold off. It's technically on them. So don't do that. Don't do that. Anyways, she put these birds in a box because, you know, the title needed to make sense for people, otherwise it's just a weird name. They'll be like, wait, what? But then she grabs the kids' hands, runs out to go to a boat to swim them away to sanctuary. Then it transitions to 5 years ago when Sandra was still pregnant and was still mean. Well, not as bad, I say. So she goes to see a doctor and was considering for adoption for her kid that was still in her. You know, when the kid comes out, she'll be like, oh, I don't want this kid. Is he 8? But anyways, her friend leaves to wait in the car. Then she leaves. As she was walking out the hall, she sees a girl killing herself by bashing her head onto a window, which must be one hell of a glass to not her, you know, breaking, like fucking falling out. I would like to mention how the makeup is good on here. But anyways, she runs to the car, and while they drive, she tells her friend about the I guess disease. I don't know. But while talking about it, destruction happens all around them. Then her friend starts seeing things, which she starts swerving the car and eventually hits another car, causing their car to flip and stuff. Then Sandra wakes up and watches her friend get yeeted in front of a garbage truck as she steps back. Like, I mean, she gets yeeted. She freaking gets hit right away. Oh, if you're wondering why I'm not saying Sandra's character's name, is because I wasn't paying attention to the names at all. So, someone helps her up, then runs away, and she is confused where to go. So she runs, then trips as this girl goes to help her, even though her husband said not to, which she should have listened, because as soon as she gets near, she freezes for a quick second, then walks into a burning car, thinking she sees her mom. And she's burning like a nice toasty hot pocket.
Oh, my hot pocket! Oh, it's hot!
So this guy saves Sandra, and other people get in this big house owned by this guy. And I'm not saying the names, because this movie, to me, was really boring. But I'm gonna say this right now. I am not doing back and forth with the timeline. I'm gonna go direct from the past all the way to the present. So anyways, I'm going to shorten the story a little here. This guy that's chill suggests let's see what the creature looks like. So they tie him down and he looks at the camera, which eventually causes him to kill himself. Because I guess if you see it, you die, like I already said. Even though this guy, the cool guy, said it was a bad idea. Boy, I wonder who was right. Then this girl shows up, which is also pregnant, even though I think she shows up earlier before the guy kills himself. So I kind of mixed up right here. But then they go to a grocery store, which again, they're reasonable to just staying there, but they don't. But that's where Sandra found the birds, which later on realized how they can warn them about the aliens, or I don't know what the hell they are. But anyways, they come back. Then police girl and tattoo guy dips, steals the car, leaving them at night. And then someone knocks on the door the next day, which this girl lets him in and pretty much doomed everyone. I say that because her and Sandra have babies at the same time, which was an uncomfortable scene to me. And then he knocks out the cool guy, walks upstairs and was like, hey y'all, look at the sunlight. Opens the blinds. Then the girl gives Sandra the baby because she accidentally looked outside. Then yeets herself out the window. Then he makes the grandma stab herself in the neck because she looked outside. She was bleeding really badly. Then the guy tries convincing Sandra to uncover herself and look towards the sunlight. Then the best character was like, hey man, that's not cool. And then gets tackled by the guy. They both fall. The other guy grabbed a pair of scissors, stabbing the best character. Then him and the cool guy fight over the shotgun, like a bunch of 5-year-olds. Then the cool guy walks up to them and was like, sup. Then 5 years pass, which has them and the kids in a house. Okay, how about this? I will get descriptive in these couple of scenes. 5 years pass. Sandra's teaching the kids about learning how to hear, I guess, or learning when to hear the bell to go that way, but to be careful. And then, like, later on, the cool guy tells these kids a story about how the world was. And Sandra's like, hey, I'm the mean parent. You kids get your asses to bed. And then they argue how she wants them to, like, have their instincts right. And then the guy's like, nah, man, I want their dreams. I want to build up their dreams. Which, honestly, I was on Sandra's side for this because it was kind of stupid to kind of build up the dreams. You know, it's never going to happen, probably. Maybe. But anyways, they all leave for, I guess, scavenger hunt. I mean, everyone leaves, which I guess that makes sense. Even though at least one could have left. But then they ran into a house. They stay there, eat Pop-Tarts and everything. And then I guess you could say those believers, the believers, shows up and Sandra and the kids run away, like Karen taking the kids away. And then the cool guy fights them and then kills himself because he had to take the blindfold off to see where he was shooting. Which I will admit, that was a pretty cool scene with him fighting the believers and stuff. And then anyways, we're back at the beginning with her threatening the kids. Like I said, they go off the sanctuary and have a lot of unrealistic stuff right here. But before we get that, I'll have to say real quick, they go on scavenger hunt, and then this guy and then a believer tries to make her look, and she shoots him, and he dies. But now, here's the unrealistic stuff. I know this movie's fiction, but the boat flips over, and amazingly, they're all together again. And it's one happy family again until Sandra trips and then just starts screaming for the kids and stuff. Which I forgot to mention, they don't have names. I guess you could say their names are boy and girl. And then they find the sanctuary, which turns out it was a blindness school, so of course they're the lucky ones. And then, let's say they make it, and that's it. That's the ending. I know that was a long pause, but that's it. This whole movie was bland. The only good parts to me was the action and the mayhem. Everything else was just there. I think I will prefer this movie not to do a back and forth timeline. Because trust me, I think if you put everything in order, you'll have the same movie. The same hours and everything. Everything will just be the same. So I didn't get what was so popular about this movie. But anyways, I'm gonna get in this review. I hate doing this, but 6 out of 10. This movie was really bland.